Hello there, good afternoon, and this is News Today. I am Emefa Akosiadete. Coming up this afternoon, Economic and Organized Crime Office EOCO targets Honda CRVs, Range Rovers, and 2 other brands in its latest swoop on stolen vehicles imported into Ghana, mainly from Canada and the USA.
Honda CRV series, the Ford F-150, the Range Rover. These are 4 brands that are very high in terms of the number of stolen vehicles that recover. Most of them happen to be these vehicles.
We'll tell you more as the state agency cautions the public to conduct due diligence when purchasing cars. And as well in the news, liaise with Foreign Ministry to arrest her. That is the order from the Public Accounts Committee to the Energy Ministry to track down a former employee who fled the country after going on a steady leave with pay.
Get with our Foreign Affairs also. Let them know. She will probably go and renew her passport. And they will let her know that she owes this amount. The government cannot pay for people to go for steady leave and then when they finish, they abscond.
Well, we're live in Parliament where the Public Accounts Committee rescheduled hearing with both trade and local government ministries. And as well, researchers estimate an average of direct loss of $89 million annually to flooding in Greater Kumasi alone, indicating possible rise to $220 million by 2050 if urgent steps are not taken.
The city is losing $89 million a year in direct damages. So if you sum all of the small damages that are occurring to buildings every year.
We'll bring you details as the Ministry for Works and Housing commits to resolving the challenges that have plagued the city. Now, for the next 60 minutes, we have these and more, including business, sports, and world today. Join News, independent, fearless, and credible. Please stay for details. Thank you for your attention this afternoon. First, the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, has named at least 4 vehicle brands it considers highly suspicious in its latest crackdown on stolen cars. The move follows concerns raised by the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, which has described Ghana and several West African countries as lucrative hubs for the vehicles stolen from abroad, especially Canada. Speaking on Upfront with Blessed Soga, head of EOCO's legal unit, Leo Anthony Siama, revealed that some car brands are particularly vulnerable to this organized crime.
We have realized over the years that there are certain types of vehicles that are suspicious. So, for instance, off-head, the Honda CRV series, the Ford F-150, the Range Rover, and I think the Dodge Ram. Those particular vehicles.
These are 4 brands.
These are 4 brands that are very high in terms of the number of stolen vehicles that recover. Most of them happen to be these vehicles. So obviously, if you are going to purchase a vehicle and you want to purchase one of those vehicles, that should be a red flag for you. Secondly, if you also look at the Ghanaian market, the Ghanaian market used to be about the sale or dealing in vehicles that had been involved in accidents outside.
Salvage vehicles.
So again, if you are buying a vehicle or you look at one of those vehicles that was recently released, maybe a 2023 model, 2024 model, which is accident-free, it should be a red flag for you. That should be something to point you at doing extra. For instance, to go to the DVL, to go to the to Interpol to find out whether or not that car status is stolen. So it has to do with identification of the vehicle, the type of vehicle you're buying, the ones that will initially or promptly raise red flags whilst you want to undertake this purchase. Because the obligation is on the purchaser. Funny thing is, we actually do. If you come to if you come to our yard and you see the assortment of luxury vehicles, you'll be amazed. There are Maseratis, there are Lamborghinis, every kind of assorted vehicle. There's a Maybach, every kind of vehicle that you can think about that it's considered a luxury brand, we have seized it. So it's not, let us try and
because you won't go after if it has less value on the market.
No, not necessarily. We are looking at the status of a vehicle.
Someone is asking that would you go after a Toyota Corolla, for instance?
Yes.
Would you?
We've gone after. I think we have a couple of Toyota Highlanders. We've got.
No, that's a Highlander.
That's a Highlander. Well, in our defense, we've gone for. So, would you consider an Accord? We have Accords. So it's not like we are having preference.
Meanwhile, the Vehicle and Asset Dealers Union of Ghana says the clampdown is beginning to hurt their market. Executive Secretary of the association, Frank Atanla Kofiga, argues that because of the unregulated nature of second-hand imports, stolen vehicles are entering the country with little or no checks at the ports.
We can admit that not all the vehicles that were seized on the streets were all stolen vehicles. They can admit that some of them that didn't fall under this category after the presentation of those documents were released.
Yes, a couple of vehicles. Yes.
And then those were the ones that fall under our membership. Those were our members.
So after the presentation, also being affected.
Yes, are being affected because some of the vehicles that were picked were not flagged vehicles. Okay, I think EOCO has to engage. EOCO will have to engage the dealership better because we have a union. Okay, we need to engage to ensure that these vehicles do not even get to the street. Okay, it doesn't augur well for the market. It doesn't augur well for the country. You get my point. So if you're looking,
so your members are all saints, are they?
Pardon?
Your members are all saints.
No, in order for you to be a registered, in order for you to be a registered member, you can be tracked.
You're a businessman.
You know,
yes,
exactly.
To be fair, as businessmen, some of you.
You can easily be traced.
I'm not saying all of you are dishonest, but some of you may.
You can easily be traced, so don't come and fall or come and hide under an umbrella that can easily pick you out and then give you out.
Right.
You understand? Because we would not condone any legality.
Right.
You understand? Well, once you fall foul of the law, trust me, we are going to give you out. You're going to, because at the end of the day, you're going to put the country out there. On a bad note, you're going to put the dealership on the bad note. Now we have a bigger competition that's to do with the assembly. So we are trying to do everything possible to ensure that our market is quite lucrative for the people. We've been doing this for way over 40 years, way before I was born. So if I'm now part of it, I need to ensure that the market is quite lucrative for the people to come and buy.
Well, still on this matter, Apiakusi Adamako is Director, West Africa Regional Center, COS International Car. Now, first of all, thank you for joining us on the news today. Let's understand what gaps in regulation or port inspections are allowing these stolen cars to enter Ghana, the market, so easily, and how can government agencies tighten oversight without at least making it stifling legitimate trade? How can we balance it?
Good afternoon and good afternoon for viewers. I think before a car gets into the country, the manifest of the car gets to customs even before. And if you can even pay your duties before the car gets to the Ghanaian waters and dock at the port. However, customs is not interested in this because customs work is largely revenue collection. They don't have any mandate to check whether the car has been stolen or the car is a matter of investigation. But now that these things have started to emerge, maybe customs in collaboration with EOCO and other law enforcement agencies like the Ghana Police Interpol may be able to share the database of all cars that are the investigations, cars that have been stolen with the customs so that those things can easily be flagged. We thank God that now we live in an electronic age. So if a car is flagged by entering the VIN number or chassis number, customs will be able to see it. And once the car gets to the port, they may invite whoever imported the car and put that person in question, and also whoever also exported the car into the country at the other side can also be reported to the police.
I think that's the Ghana hub. Why has Ghana become one of the main hubs for stolen cars? I mean, you've mentioned that customs largely they're interested in revenue collection, but beyond that, why has Ghana become a hub?
I mean, there's a lot of reasons why Ghana has become a hub. And one I would say is that, Ghanaians have the taste for latest cars. Sometimes to surprise you that when you drive through the principal street of Accra, you'll find latest cars, 2025, 2020, even 2026 cars that were launched in the US 2 months ago. You'll find similar cars in Ghana. So Ghanaians have a taste for this. And also because of the laxity in the system, because if people can bring stolen cars into the system without being detected, it gives them the incentive to do more. So I think we need to also enhance our gatekeeping to make sure that our country is not doesn't become the junkyard of stolen vehicles, because it also sends a bad signal at the other side for us.
Okay, but let's look at the other side of the conversation from a consumer rights perspective. How can an ordinary Ghanaian really protect themselves from unknowingly purchasing stolen vehicles? Can we really protect ourselves?
Yes, but the fundamental law is that whenever you buy a good, whether in good faith, and the thing is a stolen product, even if you pay the full price of it, you do not acquire the full title. That is a legal principle which has been there for more than 2,000 years. And so as a consumer, whenever you are buying something, it is very, very important that you ask relevant questions. First, what is the selling price of the car? Let's say, for example, you've seen 2025 Lexus RS 350. The manufacturer sells the car in the US for $65,000 US. And duty in Ghana could cost about $35,000, bringing to about $100,000 or so. And if someone brings a car to you selling for, let's say, 500,000 Ghana cedis, you should be asking yourself whether that person uncle owns the Toyota company or what. And so we need to be careful. First, one flag thing is the price. That is number one. Number two, you can also go online to check the vehicle's number, the VIN. The VIN lets you know, the US and most countries, by entering the VIN number, you're able to get some information. If the car is a stolen car or accident car, you see the last time the car, there's a proper entry on them. There's also a database by FBI where when you go there and enter the VIN number, it will also be able to let you know. So we need to be careful. And it's still in law, the buyer beware. Buyer, the person who is buying the thing beware, because the law doesn't know an innocent purchaser.
Right.
The only thing you can do is that if you buy a stolen car and the car is retrieved by EOCO from you, the purchaser, the only thing you can do is that you can sue the person who you bought the car from and get your money. But in Ghana, suing people to get the person will also shift the blame to the app line. So It is better you do your due diligence before buying any car.
Well, on this value chain are not just the consumers, the dealers as well. With dealers warning that the clampdown is hurting their market, how do we balance consumer protection, crime prevention, and the livelihoods of traders in the second-hand vehicle industry?
I think that we need an environment that assures whoever is buying a car that the car is genuine, and that the car that I'm buying, I will not be stopped in the streets by police or EOCO or Interpol that this car is stolen. So I think that the dealers should allow the police and the EOCO to do their work well, to sanitize the system, so that Ghana will not be a yard for stolen vehicle. And I think that the dealers must also collaborate with the police and to help them identify the bad guys who are selling these cars, who are importing them, those who are importing them into the country, so that once those people are identified, I'm sure they know them. Like the Sakawa guys, you may go to find a product that's being sold for, let's say, $5,000, but Sakawa guys can sell it to you for $1,000. And people like to go and buy those things. So until we're able to identify those people, I'm sure that in the long run, consumers will have confidence in the system. Let the car dealers
work with the police. If you are doing a genuine business, you should. I don't think you should have a problem. You should have a problem in working with the police to flash out the miscreant in the system.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on this very important conversation. Now, moving on, a group of passionate fans of Ghanaian dancehall star Shatta Wale have stormed the offices of the Economic and Organized Crime, EOCO, demanding his immediate release. Demonstrators described his detention as unfair and a disregard for his contributions to Ghana's music and entertainment industry. They accused authorities of deliberately targeting him and vowed to sustain their protests until he regains his freedom.
How long are you going to be here?
Today, I decided to open my shop because I'm a professional barber. I'm doing my own job. But how can Shatta Wale buy a stolen car? Me, I don't understand. Do you understand my point? Are you getting me? You can't buy a stolen car because it has been shipped. It has been shipped. It has been shipped, so you can't buy a stolen car.
But EOCO says he's unable to identify who sold him the car. Why?
What you people, the way you are dragging the issue is very, very, very...
I am not dragging the issue, that's what EOCO is saying.
The way all we want to say is that we beg they should free our SM board. We beg they should free our SM card.
Well, you stay with us for more details on that. But away from that, the Public Accounts Committee has ordered for the arrest of a former employee who fled the country after going on a study leave with pay. Ms. Wajan has been captured in the Auditor General's report to have been granted a study leave with pay, amounting to over 120,000 Ghana cedis, with a promise to return and serve a bond term. But the report noted that Ms. Jan has since vacated post. The Public Accounts Committee says she must be arrested to refund the money.
Did she leave the country?
Honorable, our checks shows that she left the country about more than a year ago, but they didn't give us the exact month that she left the country.
More than a year ago. Do you have any idea where she's gone to?
Exactly.
Either US or...
They should be.
Mr. Chair, we were told that you've gone to the US.
She's gone to the US?
That is so.
Oh, Master, just get the police. They will find her in the US. Yes, get the police. Get with our Foreign Affairs also. Let them know. She will probably go and renew her passport. And they will let her know that she owes this amount. Get the police involved. We cannot, the government cannot pay for people to go for steady leave and then when they finish, they abscond. That is not fair. And the guarantor over here too, let the police visit him. Let the police visit his house. You have the number, you have his name, and I'm sure you have more information on the form that the guarantor signed. If you're going to guarantee for somebody, make sure that person is going to pay. That is what we call corruption. It's not only when they hear corruption, it's politicians. Is that man a politician? Is he a member of parliament? Is he a government appointee? Look at what he's doing. Don't get the police involved. And then let us know, let the committee know within 30 days.
My colleague James Aveji is still at the Public Accounts Committee today. James, so 3 ministries were scheduled to appear today, but sitting has been adjourned. Why?
Yes, MFR, 3 ministries, the Employment and Labor Ministry, Trade and Industry, as well as Local Government and Rural Development were scheduled to appear before the committee. The Employment and Labor Relations had their turn. It was after their hearing that the committee adjourned sitting, and what we've been told is that they have to reschedule the 2 other ministries. It is unclear why they had to reschedule them. But from yesterday, there's been quite a number of issues from coming up about rescheduling and the late appearance of some of the people who are expected to attend upon the committee. And so we are yet to get an official explanation as to why those two ministries had to be rescheduled to a later date. But the committee will still come back tomorrow. It is unclear whether they will fix a different date to the two, or per convention, they will usually have to spread them on the other days where they will have to add them up to other ministry who will be appearing subsequently. But when the Labour Ministry appeared, one key issue that came up was about the attack on a nurse that happened at the Ridge Hospital a few days ago. And the chairperson of the committee, Abna Osai, inquiring about what the ministry is doing to curtail similar incidents at other hospitals across the country. And the minister, Rashid Pelpo, indicated that he has summoned the Labour Commission in order to see how they can strengthen the commission across the country in order to tackle such issues or prevent them from happening in other hospitals.
All right, thank you, James. Thank you for bringing us updates from the Public Accounts Committee. I will now take you back to the office of EOCO, where my colleague Kenneth Jesse has been bringing us updates about how fans of Shatta Wale have massed up over there in protest for his release from detention. Kenneth, what's the update? Has Shatta Wale been able to meet the bail condition?
Well, that we do not know yet because we are outside. No information is coming to us. But outside here, it's turned into a mini concert. If my camera person can pan to the crowd here, the crowd keeps swelling. They are blasting the hit songs of the dancehall musician, saying that he is innocent. They say he has done nothing wrong. They are calling for his release. In fact, most of them have been here as early as 5 a.m. They say that they are not leaving here until Shatta Wale is released. Most of the people that I talk to say they are entrepreneurs, they have their own businesses, but the love they have for Shatta Wale, they have come here to support the dancehall icon. But security is equally beefed up. We have heavily armed security personnel here, ensuring that no discrepancies happen here. Due to the nature of the swelling crowd, the police also keeps bringing in more men and women to safeguard the place, to ensure that the place is safe. Just moments ago, though, we were heckled by Shatta Wale fans. They were unhappy that we are running the story, so there was a bit of heckling, but the issue has been resolved. But as we speak now, it's a bit calmer. They are demanding the release of their dancehall icon, and that's really what is currently going on here at the EOCO office. They say they're not leaving until they are certain that Shatta Wale is released.
Right, Kenneth, quickly before you go, I see that you've been interacting with some of the fans. Do they understand and do they appreciate why he is in the custody of EOCO?
Well, I've been explaining to them that this and this is what he's been accused of, but they maintain that Shatta Wale is innocent. They say he has not bought any stolen car, even after explaining to them that EOCO said he's not been able to identify who sold the car to them. They still insist that he's innocent. So I don't know whether they have a full understanding of it or not, but they maintain he's innocent.
Have you cited maybe his lawyer, management team at all around the offices?
Yes. So his manager, Sammy Flex, entered the office about an hour or two ago. He came with a group of people who I want to assume are the lawyers for the dancehall case. So yes, Shatta Wale's manager, Sammy Flex, has come in the last hour or so. He's entered the building. We do not know the discussions or what he went to do there. So yes, some people related to Shatta Wale, his manager, and I want to believe the people that the manager was working with were his lawyers, have entered the building here at the EOCO.
Well, thank you so much, Kenneth, for bringing us an update from the EOCO office. Now, moving on, education think tanks, including IFEST and Africa Education Watch, are this afternoon questioning both the effectiveness and fairness of the policy issued by the West African Examination Council to cancel the entire results of students caught engaging in examination malpractices. The West African Examination Council yesterday issued a strong caution to candidates sitting for the 2025 exams warning that anyone found cheating risks losing their entire results. According to WAEC, heightened measures are in place this year to curb misconduct, including collusion, impersonation, and other irregularities. But not everyone is convinced. Education think tank Africa Education Watch argues that while the directive may sound tough, enforcement by WAEC has been inconsistent. Now, let's hear from executive directors of Africa Education Watch and IFES, both of whom are calling WAEC's decision into question.
Good decision to impose stiffer sanctions on perpetrators of examination malpractice. There is one thing to announce the sanctions and another thing to enforce it to serve as a necessary deterrent. But it's important that we walk the talk, and the extent to which the information gets to students before the examination will go a long way to change attitudes and behaviors during WASI.
There's a code of conduct document from WAEC that clearly espouse all these things that he's saying. So it is not something new that WAEC is bringing up. It is something that has been with the examination body over the years. In fact, the document that I'm referring to was revised in 2023, so just 2 years ago, and it's on the WAEC website. So anybody that would want to know the position of WAEC in terms of examination malpractices can clearly note that. Maybe what we have to do is to make it more public. Maybe before exams time, WAEC can sponsor some advertisements on the punishment for each act as has been espoused in the document.
Meanwhile, Head of Public Affairs at the Council, John Kapi, says the examinations, which began on August 2, have so far recorded no incidents of violence in conflict-prone areas.
I would say that everything has been on course. We've been able to dispatch no complaint from any quarters about any unable to access a question paper or being able to go and sit for the examination. So reports that we have received all indicate that all candidates who have registered for the examination have had the opportunity to write. So far, the process has been peaceful. The promise to increase security presence has actually worked. They have fulfilled that promise. We have security around all those areas. So all the candidates have been able to go and write the few papers that have been administered. So we pray that the same continues until the end of the entire process.
Now, also in the news today, President John Mahama has cautioned that Africa's surging youth population could pose a serious threat if governments do not act swiftly to create jobs. Participating in the public-private partnership dialogue in Japan, held on the sidelines of the Tokyo International Conference African Development, he urged governments to explore the creative sector and emerging technologies to create jobs rather than over-dependence on traditional paths to job creation in agriculture and manufacturing sectors. He stressed that industries such as the creative arts, renewable energy, and digital enterprises are proving to be more effective at generating employment, and urged governments to prioritize investment in these fast-growing sectors.
And so it's changing the face of agriculture. It's changing the face of agriculture in our country. Apart from that, the creative sector and youth startups are adding jobs faster than the traditional sectors. And so if you take the creatives, renewable energy and those spaces, they add about 4 jobs before you can create 1 job in agriculture or manufacturing. And so investing in that sector means that we can absorb more of the myriad of young people who are coming out of school. If we decide to concentrate on manufacturing and industry, Africa needs to turn up about 12 to 50 million jobs a year. You cannot create that in manufacturing and industry and agriculture alone, but the rate at which the creatives and digital space add jobs is much faster than the traditional economy. So it's a place that we must invest as governments in order that we can absorb more of the youth. We know that we say the youth bulge or the huge youth population in Africa is an advantage, but if we do not create enough jobs fast enough to absorb those young people coming out, then it will become a gunpowder keg and it could consume us.
Now, research findings have revealed that at least $89 million is lost annually to flooding in the Greater Kumasi metropolis. This is robbing families of their livelihoods with the attendant with the attendant irreparable damages. Senior advisor, Inland Water Systems at Deltares, Bobby Russell, has indicated the loss may reach $220 million by 2050. If urgent measures are not taken to halt the situation. Nana Ojima was at a stakeholder validation workshop in Kumasi and has filed this report.
Occupants of some houses in the Kumasi metropolis are forced to abandon their homes due to floods. Such persons have lost huge sums of money to floods, which now plague communities. New areas in the metropolis have recorded some cases of flooding despite efforts by city authorities to save the situation. The researchers, as part of initial studies, measured damage done to interior and the exterior of buildings. The assets owned by persons occupying flood-prone homes were assessed, aiding the estimation of costs incurred to floods. Per the analysis, a 12% increase in rainfall patterns due to climate change may further increase flood situation in the city. Senior advisor, Inland Water Systems at Deltares, Bobby Russell, explains.
As of now, the city is losing $89 million a year in direct damages. So if you sum all of the small damages that are occurring to buildings every year, it's the intangible things. So lost schoolwork is irreplaceable. So we can quantify the replaceable things, but not the irreplaceable items. 89 million is quite a significant lost investment every single year. By 2050, we're expecting that to increase by 38%. So we're estimating that because we know with climate change, as air temperature increases, rainfall also increases. So we're expecting 12% increase in rainfall by 2050. This is very, very significant in terms of the resulting damage. So by 2050, there'll be $220 million of losses across the whole city, on average, every year. So you can imagine if you don't do anything about it, the problem's going to get worse and worse and worse and cost the country more and more money. So ultimately, what we'd like to do is to try and work with the stakeholders here, especially with the municipal planners and also with the hydro team and other stakeholders to come up with some appropriate local solutions. This isn't about replicating what is done elsewhere, but finding solutions that are really appropriate.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Works and Housing in June this year estimated an amount of 6 billion cedis will be needed in tackling flooding. At the stakeholder engagement, the sector minister, Kenneth Gilbert Ejay, reviewed commitment to implement solutions from the engagements.
The amount of money that the country is losing as a result of floods is something that it really hurts. That's part of the reason why you see us here, so that we can curtail it. We are able to do this project after the assessment. Definitely this thing is going to cease.
What is the government's commitment towards implementing some of the proposals that we put forth after this assessment is done?
I'm sure for you to see me here even indicates that the government is committed with this project. And if you listen to my speech, it's part of the government's resetting agenda to ensure that we bring an end to flooding in most of our urban areas, of which Kumasi plays very key.
Thank you very much.
Two consultancy firms, Deltares from Netherlands and Ines from Spain, will lead the technical studies to inform strategies to deal with the floods. For Joy News, Nana Ojima, Kumasi.
Now let's stay in the Ashanti region a little longer. There is an easy calm in the Kwadaso municipality of Ashanti region as traders in one of Ghana's largest onion markets continue to fiercely resist attempts by the local assembly to relocate them to a new trading center. The onion vendors were evicted last year following a demolition exercise, but have refused to occupy a new space, arguing the new market cannot accommodate their numbers. The traders began erecting stalls on the old market center, but were halted by the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council. Emmanuel Kwadaso visited the old market, where the traders have now resorted to trading along the shoulders of the busy road.
In 2024, the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council ordered for demolition of the old Kwadaso onion market Following the exercise, the traders were relocated to the Echuma-Techiman market within the municipality, but they have refused to occupy. The eviction has become a tussle between the local assembly and the traders as they continue to occupy the area daily. Already, the cleared land is seeing the erection of some sheds reportedly built by the traders. Alhaji Abdullah Umar speaks for the traders.
Na pata also 143. Techima no omukoye ho 21 shares na omuye no ho. Then obo remove obi from 143 eko bibia 21 ho.
The old market had 143 shares, but the new market at Echuma-Techiman has only 21 shares. The local chief in the area has already given out the land to the local traders there.
Because Tetima dikro no waji tetima asase no a wadi ma tetima 4 area for no ma omu wo hono no wadi ho ma omu start ko bo omu share so okra wo tetima ho.
The municipal assembly says it will not be intimidated to forcibly leave the old onion market to the traders who are unlawfully claiming ownership to the space. Speaking on Love FM, MC for Kwadaso, Osei Sibe, insisted the traders have no legal lease to the land. He hinted that the site has been earmarked for a minimal project with construction to soon start.
I don't think they can work with us. Of what they are doing now, a land belongs to the assembly, using your own force to go and erect a structure over there. Even if you have your own land, you have to come to the assembly for a permit. So now that the land even belongs to the assembly, how can you be the owners of the land? And we have to choose or use the land for a purpose that we think can serve well in the community. So we won't sit down for our property to just go. My first plan is by using the onion market for a minimal, a rapid path seminar so that the youth there will get jobs to do.
The market served as the largest onion trading center for the Ashanti region and beyond, housing hundreds of vendors. But they are now occupying the shoulders of the road leading to the Kwadaso market center, risking their lives to possible road accidents. We are only squatting along the shoulders of the road. Business isn't booming. We are pleading with the government to come to our aid.
You
see a race course. On say race course a patana wo hono. Na ye central market no. Ya be si central market no. Na central market no mano. E yi wo mu e ba race course.
We are now at the racecourse market temporarily.
For the further notice, for now.
For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bratpiku.
The one-week funeral observation of the late Asante Hema Nana Konedu Yadom III is currently underway at the Mensha Palace in Kumasi, drawing traditional leaders, dignitaries and mourners from across the country. The solemn ceremony is being observed in accordance with Asante customs, with the palace grounds draped in black, red and brown. The Asante Hene Otufo Sertutu II, other chiefs, Queen Mothers and elders of Asante Man have gathered to pay tribute to the late Queen Mother, who passed away earlier this month after 80 years of dedicated service to the Asante Kingdom. Now, security has been heightened around the Mensha Palace to ensure order as large crowds of mourners, including politicians, clergy and citizens, arrive to show their respect. Traditional drumming and cultural display mark the observation, reflecting the death of grief within the kingdom. Nana Konedu Yadom III, sister of the Asante Hene Otumfo Sertutu II, reigned as Asante Hema from 2017 and was widely respected for her wisdom, compassion and significant role in upholding Asante traditions. Now, let's cross over to Mensha, where Nana Bwache Yadom is on standby for us. Nana, Asante Man is really mourning.
clearly you can see from the scenes here that indeed the Ashanti region and the Ashanti Kingdom, Ashanti man at large, is in a state of mourning, MFR. Everybody you see here is clad in black, red and brown, the mourning colors of the Ashanti Kingdom, and that is what you see people wearing all over the Jabrim grounds here at the Menchia Palace for the 1 week observation for the late Asante Hima Nana Kunedu Yadom III. It is a blend of culture and modernity here at the Menchia Palace. As you can see, the display of beautiful and rich Ashanti culture at the palace over here. Chiefs are seated. More than 60 paramount seats under the Asante Hine are seated at the Menchia Palace, Jabrim, waiting for the arrival of the occupant of the golden stool himself, and one who has lost a mother, a sister, the Asante Hine Otumfo Osei-Tutu II. We have the occupants of the silver stool, who is the second in command, the Mampong Traditional Council, also going to take over the right hand of the Asante Hine when he has to sit down. And so beautiful culture being displayed over here, and you can see the umbrellas highly lifted above the chiefs, and some of them seated beneath their umbrellas, some of them walking beneath their umbrellas. A clear display of the phrase Ahimfuchinie Ebididibiechi, those who are holding the small umbrellas and those with the big umbrellas. It also signifies the authority of some of these chiefs who are trooping into the Menchia Palace. Not to talk of the number of people who are trooping into the palace to observe or to look at what is happening here today, because it is history, one that is sad, but then one that goes into the books and one that we can definitely learn from. This is the funeral for the 14th Asante Hima Nana Kunedu Yadom. Let me paint a picture to you as to how the high table or the podium looks like over here. We're expecting the arrival of the Vice President, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, and her entourage. She will be leading government delegation, and that is where you have the seat of the Vice President and then her delegation. We have former ministers of state, we have current ministers of state, members of parliament who are seated, and you have other politicians who are also joining the 1 week observation. Clearly, as I stated, it is a display of culture today. You are coming in dressed in black, red or brown, the mourning colors of the Ashanti Kingdom. And you can see the former energy minister and former education minister, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, who is also seated over there. He is also the former member of parliament for the Menchia constituency, and also from the Menchia Palace. He is also from the Menchia Palace over here, and so he's a royal. For him, he has also lost a relative. All of this is a display of culture. Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh seated over there, and would want to try our best to see. Okay, so it will be very difficult for us to get to speak to anybody on the high table over there or up here, because it is a restricted zone. But let's see how things look like. I want to just show you how everybody is looking like over here. They are sad, they are sorrowful, clad in black, red, brown, mourning the demise of the Asante Hima Nana Kunedu Yadom. I'd also want us to go and see what the seat or where the Asante Hine will be seated, and that is on my far right. That is where the Asante Hine will be seated. Over here we have various stools coming in, stools in black, stools in red, stools in brown, stools in white, and all of it have meaning. We have the Abrafo who are also well dressed, wearing their war uniforms and war attires. We have security heightened all over this place to make sure that nothing goes wrong at all today. Protocol is in place, everything is in order, and this is because we are mourning the Asante Hima Nana Konedu Yadom. Let me tell you a little bit of history as to why this day is very much important to the Ashanti Kingdom. This is the woman who plays the counseling role and advisory role of the Ashanti Kingdom. Hierarchically, she is supposed to be on top of it all. In fact, she is on top of it all. In the absence of, or when an Asante passes out or dies, she appoints the occupant of not just any stool but the golden stool, and so it makes her role in the Ashanti region one that is of very much importance to the Ashanti people. And then she has held the seat as Queen Mother for 8 years now. We've had other Queen Mothers who have taken over the seat for more than 8 years, some even going beyond 20 years. But then she took over from her mother, Nana Efeakobi Sewampim, in 2017 as the 14th Asante Hima, and then she served for the 8 years. The Asante Hima stool is very much important because you hold on to, you are held on to high esteem. At first, it was located at Kokofu until it was brought into Kumasi, into the Mensha Palace to even be specific. And so it is one stool that holds very, very much prominence when it comes into the Ashanti setting. And every time you are supposed to be appointed as Asante Hima, you are supposed to be part of the EOCO clan. And that is why at every point in time when we're talking about the family, we are making mention of the EOCO clan, because that is where the golden stool comes from. That is the family that it comes from, and that is where we have even the Asante Hima also coming from. So you can see the chiefs are all seated here today. I would want to try to speak to Nana over here. Nana, yeah, Baba join you so. And Dakesi ma Asante ma nyina. And then I be catch more share wo bra Yesu Nana Hima Nana Konedu Yado motosumiensa. Ede ka mama Asante ma nyina ya akọ. Na mama miwura Asante ya akọ. Na me anso ye fe me semfie duma sanhene. Me ba na da fo mu no. It means say ababa ya oba or that for me there. E ya reho ye pa ma any Asante ma nyina. Ente me tu odin no. Me ni abre pa. Many abre. Na ye ma o shede. Na ye hwe ni mu so say bibia anso ebeko ye pa. Okay, and so he is a Senfi Mahini. He says that per custom, the Asante Hima is his daughter. And I tell you, this is the beauty of the Asante culture, because it can just turn around in any way whatsoever. The least you expect is where we draw the line to form culture. And that is why you would have the Senfi Mahini saying that the Asante Hima happens to be his daughter. And the Asante Hima, although his sister would say the Asante Hima is his mother. That is the culture of the Ashanti Kingdom. And so you can see that we have limited access from here, but that is on your screen is where we have the where the Asante Hima will be seated. And so that is why we have that in your shot for you. The seats over there, he'll be having several chiefs all around him. The Jabehini, who was former Council of State Chair, the Dumhini, all other paramountcies who form a part of the EOCO clan are all going to surround him up here. And so this place is restricted for the Asante Hini alone. And exactly in some few minutes time, let me say, in some few minutes time, the Asante Hini would be seated. And so, MFA, this is what you see here at the Mensha Palace. Everything is going on smoothly. We are waiting for the arrival of the Asante Hini to the second, the arrival of the Vice President, Professor J. Nano Pokwajiman, and then we can say that the 1 week observation has officially commenced. Until then, we have limited access, but then we'll keep our viewers posted as to what goes on over here. So over to you, back in the studio.
Nana Wachiyadom, such amazing reports there from the Mensha Palace, observing 1 week celebration or funeral observation for the late Asante Hini. You're watching News Today. Please stay with us. Business is up next.
Welcome back to Business here on Joy News Today. My name is Winston Taki, and now to our first business story. The Ghana Revenue Authority has held the second edition of its Customer Experience Conference under the theme, Transforming Service Delivery for Impact and Growth. The event is aimed at fostering trust among taxpayers and enhancing efficiency in revenue mobilization. There is more in this report.
Addressing the media at the Customer Experience Conference 2025, Assistant Commissioner of the Customer Experience Unit at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Dr. Brago Nchieje, said the authority is making deliberate efforts to integrate technology into its customer relations services. This initiative is part of a broader strategy to simplify tax payment and enhance overall service delivery.
Technology is an enabler, but we'll still follow the human beings to use the technology wisely and appropriately to help our taxpayers. So in GRA, that's just the model that we have employed, is a strategy we have employed to ensure that we have come out to so many digital platforms and the use of technology, just so that it makes it easier for our taxpayers to comply. As we mentioned, it is our desire, it's our vision that the payment of taxes should be as easy as possible. So that's what we aim to do with the institution, bringing aboard digital platforms, technology, just so that taxpayers find it easy. Nobody likes to pay taxes, we know that, but we should not make the process also very tasking. So using technology is one of the customer experience tools that we are employing to make it easy for our taxpayers.
Commissioner of the Support Services Division at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Dr. Alex Adumaku-Mensah, reaffirmed the authority's commitment to bridging the gap between the authority and taxpayers. He stressed that a purposeful coexistence between the two parties is key to driving national growth and development.
Gone are days that you treat the taxpayer as an enemy, and when the taxpayers see us, they see us as an enemy. Now you want to bridge that gap, so that you see them as our own customer, how to deal with them, how to pamper them, how to let them know that they are part of the community who need to support the country. So basically today what we are doing now is to draw the attention of the whole world, Ghanaian people, that they are not enemies. They are the people who help us to do the development, build the roads, hospitals, schools. Without them, there will be no road. So we want to let the whole people in the country know and understand how the customer is and how the tax is being done, so that we explain to them, we educate them how the tax is being done, and then let them feel that they are not enemies, they are part of us. They are there to contribute to support the country to move forward for development.
The conference is expected to serve as a platform for strengthening the relationship between the Ghana Revenue Authority and taxpayers, while also shaping innovative approaches to customer service within the authority.
That's all for business. Up next is sports.
I am Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Time now to bring you sports here on Joy News today. We are barely 48 hours to this year's Joy Sports Invitational Tournament happening at the University of Ghana Stadium. And this is a schedule for the competition. And at 6 to 7 a.m., we'll be having a 5-kilometer walk and aerobic session. This will be happening at the Legon Stadium and also inside the Legon campus. Then from 8 to 11 a.m., the football competition will start around 11. There will be table tennis, volleyball, there's tennis, draws, chess, Scrabble, e-sport, basketball, free throw, lime and spoon. All these events will be happening in the morning. And then in the afternoon, we'll have swimming, CO's penalty shootout, female penalty shootout, and then also sack race, tag of peace, arm wrestling, and the football round 2, which will be the knockout phase of the tournament. 4 to 6 p.m. is where the relay is going to happen, where MFR will be changing the baton with Evans to see who is going to win that 100 meters race. Last year, I beat Evans in
I'll beat you. You can beat Evans all you can. I will beat you.
Okay, we will dare to see. Abla will be the referee that day. Why are you laughing? I know one of the things we are adding this year is that come with your family. We are creating a children playground where you can leave your children and participate in these events. That's what we are creating this year for our participants, just to give them a whole day experience. Emma, take over.
Thank you so much, Muftau. This is how I do the relay. You have no idea, but thank you as well for watching the news today. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Thank you for watching.